I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Let's see. Yes, first off, can we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda for October 7th?
Move to approve tonight's agenda. Second.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved unanimously. If we get a motion to approve the September 23rd minutes.
Move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
All in favor? Or somebody want to second it?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Are good. All right, next on the agenda, we have school committee chairperson comments. I don't have anything to say tonight or update, so I think we can go ahead and move on to community comments. Anybody in the room for community comments? A big presentation comment? Sam, anybody online raising their hand?
I see no hands raised.
No hands, all right. Then we will go ahead and move on to our student comments. First up, we've got a group from Memorial Elementary School.
Hi, thank you for having us. Our names are Eliana, Kate, Belle, Vivian, Eva, Brayden, Zelly, and Lily. We are 7 of the 12 members of Memorial 4th grade Student Council, and we are here to share a little bit about the process of becoming a Student Council member and our ideas with you. In order to become a member of the Student Council this year, we have to fill out a form about why we wanted to be a part of it, what our qualities are, and what idea that we had to improve the school. We also had to get a written recommendation from an adult who knows us well, but not our parent or grandparent, because of course they love everything about us.
We had to give a speech in front of our whole class about what we want to do for the school and why we think we'd be good at it.
Our classmates had to identify what qualities they saw in us based on our presentation. These included things like creativity and leadership, as well as the 4 the learner qualities. Miss Bill, Miss Juke, and our teachers looked at all of the feedback from our classmates and chose 3 students from each class.
At our first meeting, we introduced ourselves and told the group one thing that we wanted to improve the school. To make our meetings run smoothly, we agreed to follow the rules during our discussions. They are: listen while others are talking, talk like you're in a conversation, don't expect the adult to lead. Be engaged, participate, and stay on topic, and respect other people's ideas and suggestions. We talked about the goals we have for Student Council. They are: make our school even better, give younger kids more opportunities to have older positive role models, and make our community even better. We also talked about one of the ideas, book buddies, and how it could get started. We went to groups of 3 to the teachers in the grade and asked the teachers if they could help get it organized.
My idea was to start book buddies with several grades, giving younger kids positive role models. My idea was to extend the time for families and make them more often. I want to do this because family meetings are something that everyone enjoys. So if they are longer and more often, then maybe kids who don't love school would think it was more fun.
My idea was to have a school garden so that we can have fresh vegetables and fruits in the cafeteria instead of the canned vegetables we eat in the cafeteria.
My idea to start Fun Friday. What we do on Fun Friday, that grades could get extra recess for watch a movie.
My idea was to have talent shows every month or every other month so people could find out what other people's talents are. My idea was to start a couple more fundraisers so we could maybe raise more money and buy more things for the school. It would also help other people's ideas be more possible
and our teachers would have more tools. My idea was to improve the school lunch menu. For example, it would be good to have people to make the salad like the way they like it.
Thank you for having us tonight. Does anyone have any questions for us?
All right.
Great ideas.
I know, it's fantastic ideas.
Geez, you had a lot of trouble getting adults to think of ideas that good.
Yeah.
Have any of your ideas been implemented yet?
One of them kind of,
Buddies.
Yeah. they started my idea a little bit.
What's that?
Book buddies.
Book buddies, awesome. Very good.
Good job.
Other questions?
Very
Thank you,
nicely
guys.
presented.
Well done. We'll give everybody a minute. You guys don't feel any pressure to stay at all, because it doesn't get any. That was the big. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. These are my hands up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
One run tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe the rest up.
All right, Hannah, you got big shoes to follow there.
Say, none of my ideas are. We just had the Spanish exchange program, which was absolutely amazing. I had a girl named Marina, she's like a year younger than me. So fun, like we would go to McDonald's and Starbucks and like have parties. It was just so fun. And I was like, this year I was like, often I was like, I'm gonna force you to be my best friend because like we are like, and we did. We like ended up forming a great connection. I'm so excited to see her in Spain in April. So that was a great experience. Homecoming was also great. We lost the football game, but it was okay because they didn't know what was going on anyway. The Spanish students, but they thought it was just fun to watch either way. And also what's been consuming a lot of my time lately has been making my mastery learning transcript like as a senior. I think it's like something that'll greatly benefit me in so many ways. I think there's like a stigma around it that like only the students that have poor grades, the students that need it, but like grades aren't that bad. And I feel like it's still gonna benefit me because it makes my application stand out from other people. So I think we should definitely like emphasize this more with students because all my friends are like, oh, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, why? Like I personally love it. I think it's a great thing that'll help us out. So yeah.
Appreciate the update, appreciate your passion around it, and no pressure, but if you're comfortable, would it be interested in sharing it with the crew towards the end of the year? I think we'd absolutely love to see it.
I'd love to. I mean, I've made like a little presentation for each of the competencies. So I have one of each and I did like a Canva presentation. Good. I worked hard on them, so I would love to.
Good.
That would be awesome. Let's do it.
And you say it's taking a lot of your time.
Oh, yes.
About how much more do you think than doing a traditional?
A lot. Because I mean, you make Canva presentations for this, like, it's like.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, those are pretty good, I feel like. So I have 6 different competencies. So I made the presentation for each one of those. But then I also, some of them were drafts because I had to think of like the specific examples I wanted to use. So there was like the rough draft, and there was like the final one, and there's submitting it, and there's earning the competency, and then there's reviewing it, and there's redoing it. So it's like a process, but I'm pretty proud of it.
So let me ask you, how much has it changed your opinion of who you are?
I mean, it's in a way, I've like realized like making it that I don't like if a college sees all of this about me and like doesn't accept me, I don't accept them. Like it's like you see all of this stuff, like that's me. Like this is who I am. And if like you just want to see my grades, like I don't want to go there. So I feel like it's helped me like see that a lot more that like I'm more than my grades and like if they don't see that then you're not getting me.
So it's different than writing the essays in that it organizes your thoughts and allows you to present them.
Yeah, and it can also show that like I'm a creative person because it shows all my little Canva stickers and stuff.
Yeah, good. Good.
So perfect. All right, on to you, Dr. Cohen, for superintendent administrator reports.
All right, we're gonna continue the good stuff, and I'm gonna ask that Darcy Daniels come on up, sit next to me. Thank you. I have a lot I'm going to read, so I always like to give the warning to the person sitting next to me on that. But we're really excited because Darcy has been named the 2024 Massachusetts History Teacher of the Year by the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History. She is one of 53 finalists for the 2024 National History Teacher of the Year Award. And I think they just made a decision on that. I saw that post on the website. She's receiving a $1,000 prize and collection of classroom resources and is recognized at a local ceremony to join the finalists contending for the National History Teacher of the Year Award. Let's see. Presented annually by the Institute, the nation's leading nonprofit organization dedicated to K-12 American history education. The award honors one K-12 teacher from each state for their outstanding contributions to American history education. Darcy joined NITMUC just recently in 2022, although it feels like you've been here a long time because of the impact that you have brought in a short time. She currently teaches US, is an advisor, the 2026 advisor, in a club for immigrant students called Friendly Faces. Have that in here. Want to make sure I'm getting it right. She's also a tour guide. I remember this distinctly when I interviewed her when she came in, and I met with her for the Freedom Trail in Boston, and also is an adjunct history professor at Dean College. She's been an educator for over 20 years in 3 countries and 4 states. She's a James Madison Memorial Fellow and a Teach for America alum. She was also featured in the New York Times bestseller book, The Power of Moments: Why Certain Experiences Have Lasting Impact by Chip and Dan Heath. It's a great book if you haven't read it, but many of us have, I know. I have a couple quotes. We have Mrs. Moran stated that Darcy is a phenomenal teacher who makes critical thinking, civic engagement, and historical inquiry come to life each day for her students. John Clemens said, she is a personal, kind-hearted, and dedicated educator and leader who makes a positive impact on her students, colleagues, and those who are fortunate enough to work with her. We are grateful to have her as a member of the NITMUC community. And Matt Merton back here, Mr. Merton said, Darcy made an immediate impact on our department right from day one. She has a deep passion for history, especially colonial America, where she conducts tours in Boston all summer. During her time at NITMUC, she has grown into an incredibly valuable member of our team and has helped us realize our vision of social studies at NITMUC and how we can impact the lives of our students. And we just wanted to honor you here and recognize you here for our local community as well, and say congratulations. We're so lucky to have you. Thank you very much. Now, if you wanted to say a couple of words, and then after we're gonna take a picture with you.
Okay. I just want to say thank you and thank you for honoring me. And this is such an honor, and I feel really lucky to be working at NITMUC with a really great social studies department and great administrators and great colleagues. So I feel really lucky to be here.
Which part of the tour did you do? That's pretty fun.
Oh, so the Freedom Trail.
Yeah.
So it's a 2.5-hour deep dive into the American Revolution. We start at the Boston Common and we end overlooking the battle bunker hill.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll have to get out there next summer.
You can-
Sounds
How
fantastic.
do we know that we can get you?
I have
It's
to
like
tell
their
you
way.
what specific
Oh, okay.
tours I'm on because all the tour guides are good. So
Of
if you
course.
weren't to get me, we're all good.
But they're not all you.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. Excellent.
Thank
Thank you. Are we gonna come
Okay.
up here?
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's up?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
everything you do.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Right. Would you be able to pull up my update? It says presentation underneath my updates right at the top. love seeing myself. Yep, that's it. Okay, so we just did that. You can go to the next slide. All right, so I have a few updates for you. First, I wanted to let you know that we received, I know you're aware because we bring it up a lot, how we've been working with MUCP and our capital planning committee on our needs for an improved athletic complex at Nipmuc Regional. We received some information that we could apply and try to get into this contest where you could win, up to 2 million for, Friday night lights. We received an announcement just last week that we're one of the recipients of 5,000, which is still good. And we're excited about it, but it's a team mobile Friday nights lights competition. And their competition culminates in a 2 million grand prize for one small town's high school fields in the US. And it includes a 100,000 cash grant, new teched out scoreboard, upgrades, etc. And Grant is actually part of this. So you can go on the website that I linked in there and see all the ads and everything that he has there. But we're pretty excited for all of the enthusiasm. We learned about this competition really honestly a little bit later, and someone had sent it to me and we sent it right out, and you have to do it through social media to get enough votes in order to win. And we're really thankful for our people in the community who did push it out and did, add to it. And also for our athletic director, Chris Schmidt, because someone had to write the application and he is the one who submitted it for us. It was really unclear from the original message if we're still a contender for something beyond. It didn't really say on the website. It kind of outlined it that you sort of are chosen here and then they're going to choose one later, but it was a little unclear. So I don't know. I'm going to just hope that maybe we're still contenders and we might have more funds coming our way. But either way, we're excited about being able to highlight some of the work that we're doing, and MUCP is working closely with Chris Schmidt to see what would be the best use of the funds to help. Any questions on that before I move on?
Great.
Great. Next update, one of our priorities, 1.4, is to create more flexibility in the school schedules to open up new opportunities for learning. We have established school scheduling committees at all of the schools. A lot of the work has been around identifying purpose, goals. I was just at a MISCO scheduling committee just in the last week. We were talking about non-negotiables, some opportunities that could come with a schedule change at some point in the future. And what's been nice is we have a lot of representatives that are showing up from all grade levels and different departments at these meetings. And I really want to thank all of the participants that are participating in this. This is a 2-year process. We started the committees last year and are continuing some of the conversations and work this year as well. The participants are asking great questions about schedules and how the changes can meet our district priorities. A big focus is around deeper learning. So if you think about, for example, at the high school, how do we get more students out for internships? We need to have a schedule that allows for that. So that's something they're talking about. But when you think about the middle and high school, how do you bridge a gap between the middle and high school with some of our programming? Like world language, is there an opportunity that we can strengthen that from middle to high school? Or are there opportunities where you could have staff moving between the two schools or even students moving between the two schools? We are looking at opportunities for, let's say, advisory or win blocks and where they can be in our schedules. We have it in some places, but how can we maximize those and bring in social emotional supports and any additional programming? So as we work through it, and I know some are going to pilot at the high school, they're looking at a couple different schedules and they're going to try to pilot some later on this year if that works out, but just wanted to bring that work to your attention early on. And also if you have ideas, we definitely want all stakeholders to give ideas and input because we're all impacted by the schedule. And so if you have ideas, please send them our way or share them now.
What does cross-district overlap refer to?
That would be like middle and high school as an example.
Right.
You know, if
So like
we
language
found, had a similar type of schedule where you could, we always talk about Italian as a
Yeah.
good example. You know, could you have, because we don't have Italian at the middle school, so could you have something where a teacher come down, teach them Italian at the middle school, go back? You can only do that if you can have an overlap in a schedule where you
Yeah.
could schedule that in.
I hear about it all the time. I hear
See?
it every
That's what-
single day.
Yeah, all right. See, there you go. Trying to work on that if we can. Now, there is no such thing as the unicorn perfect schedule. There's always pros and cons. We're limited by a lot of things, start and end times and busing, but it's about trying to be creative, try to think outside the box. I think they're doing a good job of coming in and saying, you know, what's working well, but also what are areas and pain points that we need to overcome, and opportunities that we haven't been able to get to because we've been limited by our schedule. And so it's really hard work and complicated. Master scheduling is really complicated, but their conversations have been great. And I'm hopping in, I've heard some great ideas to the table, but if you have other ones, just please send them along. Just
I'm
from a
excited
parent
about this
perspective or
because,
school committee.
you know, for the longest time, we've been talking about having different schedules for, I mean, you want your kids to be involved in everything, but
Right.
that's not possible.
Yeah,
But then they get involved in what they think they can manage, and it explodes into something they can't manage all the time. Oh, she's I'm getting agreement from Anna, this is great. But yeah, giving kids advice about what they're going to confront if they take on a particular activity and how to schedule it, other things. I think it's really important because they don't understand that.
and there are always those choices. You can never get all of your electives at the high school or meet all of them at the middle school, you know, because of the time in the day, but we'll look at access as well, you know, for our students too.
Cool.
Anything on that? Okay.
Like, I think
Yeah.
like study block would be like so nice. Like, I know like for me and like other classmates, like I know in middle school I know it's called Win now, but it was
Yeah.
called Project Block. And we would just go outside and find them like, where's that project block now? Like, I need it now, like for my APs. So like, also a lot of people don't know what they're getting into with APs. Like, I know I had a friend that dropped out of AP art because it's a lot. So
Yeah.
like, I think that extra time would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I know it's not that easy to make a study involved.
And you bring up a good point, because we're not allowed to have study halls anymore because of time on learning. We have to meet a certain number of minutes of time on learning, and that's more structured time of instruction. But something that we can do if you design a win block the right way is that's time to get extra help, you know, supervise, you can work in activities, and then you're able to do that. So sometimes there's flexibility in doing that as well.
There's such a positive aspect to MERSD in that there's enough room, there's space for individual kids to do many different things. And that isn't always the way it is at a larger school, or even some of the smaller schools if they don't have facilities. We're in that sweet spot of having kids have a lot of opportunities and they can participate as much as they want. So I just think it would be, you can have the effect of overworking your kids. So that'd be good to give them advice.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Next one, just so you know, and sure, we'll talk about this in future meetings, but we joined the ELA Curriculum Network with DESE. We had joined this a few years ago, where what they do is they work you through an intensive process to help train leaders and teachers on how to identify and select high quality instructional materials for curriculum resources. And I had gone through it many years ago, and it was one of the first years that they ran this program. And I think it's excellent, and, you know, it helped us with designing kind of our process. And I'm really excited to hear that as we're in our phase 1 of our curricular review cycle that we've brought back, that we're going to have a focus on ELA, and this is going to support that work. So you'll hear more about it. Just wanted to let you know, because there was a recent meeting in the beginning of this process for And then finally, or no, thank you more. Wanted to give you an update on a deeper learning framework. We have a draft of a framework for deeper learning. And what's been nice is we've identified 4 categories or elements of deeper learning. So you can see we have student agency, reflection, revision, authenticity, and collaboration. And what we're working on now are developing look-fors. So when we go into classrooms, what we might be looking for, we just practice that at a learning walk with our leadership team when we're at MISCO the other day, and we have we're at MISCO's in the allied work this year, and they're going to be working on developing this out. So we have look-fors that we're adding into the framework, but we also have I have it up there. Oh, the leveling up protocols. You've heard in the past about NIPMUC rolled out the authenticity leveling up protocol. We have one that we're developing for agency at the instructional partners that have been developing at the elementary level. Each of the schools are taking one of those and starting to develop the protocols in the look-fors, and then we're going to be bringing it all together and practicing it this year. You'll hear more about it, but we're excited about the work that's already happening even in the first month of school. Finally, just want to, as a member, and we have members here of support MU for Ed Foundation, the Spooky Run is coming up. I just registered. I just sent it out to all my friends. They all registered, even though they don't live in town. Costumes are not required, but they're encouraged. You don't have to run it. I walk it. I just try not to be the last person that comes in. I'm usually close because I walk it, but it's a fun day and it's for a good cause. So just wanted to put a little plug in for this as
Now,
well.
is this the first time it's happened since the end of, no? Did it have
Last
year?
year.
Yeah, we had it
Second.
last year.
Okay, second. That's wild.
Yeah, we've had
Good to see.
it for a while, bringing it back. And it's in a few weeks, so just wanted to give that highlight.
Awesome.
All right. Any questions on any of that before I move on? All right, I'll send you the link if you need it to sign. All right, I'd like to invite Lori Petty to come on up. And she's going to be giving a human resources report, some updates about her work. Hi, everyone.
Thanks for having me here tonight. So I will be giving you a departmental update for human resources and payroll, as well as going over the new insurance that we implemented on July 1, health insurance, exit interview, survey analysis, and the goals for human resources for 24-25 school year. Before I do want to mention Heather Corby. So about a year ago, we hired Heather as my admin assistant, and she has been instrumental in streamlining a lot of processes in the HR department, one of which we'll speak of in a little bit. But she's been a great addition.
Amazing.
Yeah, she really has. And when talking with Maureen, I've always said when I was interested in this position, one of the things that brought me towards it was I like to deal with people. I like to help people. That's one of the things I try to strive for in this position. I like to have an open door policy where people are welcome to come and talk to me for whatever issues they may have. I think that all begins like in the beginning, to a positive workplace culture from the beginning, which I try to start with the onboarding process. So in meeting with all new hires, we go over, of course, all their payroll documents, their health insurance, dental, whatever, if they're enrolling in their retirement information. And I let it be known at that point that whatever they need to contact me for, then I'm there if they need it. Some of the other things that we'll talk about, like I said, is the exit interview, which I implemented about 3 years ago, an exit interview survey. So you'll see in the next few slides the analysis on that. And benefit management and payroll management. I think just on a regular basis, it could be a plethora of things. I deal with many retirees still, current employees, new employees, dealing with changes to payroll or to their health insurance. So on July 1, we switched to a new health insurance plan through Mass Strategic Health Group, Health Plans Inc. The pros of that were, there's no deductible, there's no third-party billing like we had with Harvard Pilgrim, no referrals are required. And it was a reduction in PPO enrollment from 44 down to 16, which is a cost savings for both the employee and for the district. We did have a few hiccups in the beginning, partly because through negotiations, it was determined rather late in the game that we were going to switch. So that caused a delay in getting people's employees' cards out on time. So they didn't have them as of July 1. It was about a week or two, maybe later. We did deal with our rep though, and he handled it. He provided us with PDF copies of everyone's cards. So those who needed it in the first 2 weeks, we were able to help them there with that. There were some issues with prescriptions, but the rep that we deal with, he has been on top of things. He doesn't waste any time. He works weekends. I've gotten many emails from him over the weekend stating that he's taking care of certain problems. So he has dealt with them and they've been straightened out. A lot of it we've been finding is user error too, and in a lot of them get confused because it says Harvard Pilgrim on the front of the card, so they're billing it improperly or they're setting up the billing improperly, but he has straightened that out.
Any questions on that before we move on? No?
So like I mentioned, I implemented exit interview questionnaires a few years ago. So this is some of the data that we got from that. So one of the questions is, what are your plans for next year? And as you can see here, about a little more than 20% have accepted a position outside of teaching. About 29% accepted another position within education, and a little over 33% will teach or work in a different school district.
Just to note on the bottom, this is over the 3 years of data collection. And it's also sent to all, if any staff members leave the district, it's sent to them and they have the opportunity to come and meet if they choose to. And we've received about half have responded.
Yeah.
What's the difference between red and blue? Is it like, this is within education, would that be like a non-teaching education role? Create curriculum or something like that?
Another position within education, and the blue was to work at a different school.
I think those were just the options that were on it because not all were, so let's say you were a paraprofessional, you might not be going to teach in another school, but you're accepting a position within education.
The next slide will show specific reasons that people left. What are the reasons for leaving? You can see retirement, career opportunity, relocation, compensation change. And the other would be for things to do with like mental health or family obligations, different things like that.
I'm sorry, what does change refer to? Changes of,
Where are we looking?
The 29%.
To due to the change, like they didn't agree with the changes in the district.
I see.
And then this slide will show that it was not priority. It wasn't a reason for salary, wasn't a reason, or school changes and goals were not reasons for leaving.
I found that surprising. I thought maybe it was like around salary, but it didn't come up as one of the top
That's a strong
ones.
point.
Yeah.
And then this slide shows that the compensation, salary and benefits, it was 50-50.
Any question on those before we move on to goals?
Was there any like amended part of the survey? The interesting takeaways in that word cloud or anything like that that share, or is it just kind of go along existing questions?
Quantitative analysis.
He's asking if like for the open-ended, if we pulled like a work, we didn't put any, we didn't pull them all into work.
Were there
load or
any common
anything.
threads to that you saw though? Yes.
Any common threads that were different? I'm trying to think of the reason, when I read through it. It was almost, there were I wouldn't necessarily say trends that stand out more than what were in some of the questions. There were more specific. So, some people might write a little bit. You might even have, it's been great.
Mhm.
You might have, it hasn't been great. I want to change. It's like personal reasons. Some don't say anything. Some write really long things. We do read through all of them. We have met and offered and met
Mhm.
with different staff members as well, who have agreed to come in and meet with us, and then we ask more questions of that.
To give that
Nothing
option to all
really,
of them.
nothing really jumped out as anything,
Like actionable.
yeah. No, not
Yeah.
specific. Yeah, no, that's a good question. Nothing so much specific.
Just-
But one thing leads to like the goals though, the school climate survey. So obviously we always want to be working on improving school climate. It was a goal that we had last year in school culture, and we had a major focus on it as a team and saw some great improvements as well. But we do the climate surveys like every few years. We'll be following up with that, which does give us different information too. So when things pop up, that's what we try to focus on. So if it is culture and climate that's impacting, then we can try to address it on a larger scale as well.
The exit interview is optional. Or is
We-
it-
They don't all do it.
I don't
No,
know,
you send it out and like we said, about half of them.
about half.
Mhm.
So you send out the survey, half respond to the survey, and a smaller number take the exit interview. Is that? you actually
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
in-person interview?
We give them the option of in-person, not only a few have done that.
Assume that is very good data to.
And in some cases though, I mean, if you think, we went back to some of the numbers or like the reasons for change, in a lot of cases, we also know why people are leaving because they've had conversations with their administrators about, I'm looking for, some are just straight up relocation happens, or there are a lot of parents that have other, opportunities, in other districts, or some are going into teaching elsewhere. It is really a range of reasons, retirement, etc. And some is, of course, dissatisfaction too, and that's where we want to try to be able to talk to them. But usually we've had conversations. It's not usually sudden that we're unaware because we're such a small district that we do know our staff really well, as opposed to being in a larger organization too. But I'm thankful for the work and putting this in place because we didn't have this in place before Laura came on board to manage that as well. And to meet with people too, in this process as well.
Well, just to follow up on what Matt said, because I think that would be beneficial if we had a way to structure that qualitative information
Mhm.
by asking a couple of more questions. Just to try to zero in on what the issue might have been when they leave, or what the situation might have been, so that we can see whether it is something we can take action.
Mhm.
So it's not necessarily, because a lot of the situations for exiting is, I think the distribution looks pretty accurate, actually. It's between complaints and
Yeah.
willingness to move and everything like that. That doesn't seem shocking to me, but understanding the reasons why is really important. So it'd be nice to quantify that a little bit.
But also to give another dimension to the data is, are they paras, are they facility, are they teachers? And then we can kind of align, right? There's an issue over here, there's an issue with facilities, and it's this,
Mhm.
being able to dissect it that way.
Yeah, and I think once we have more numbers and data, so let's say approximately you have 50 people and 25 have, respond over the few years. And then of that, there are like 3 custodians, like we can't, we're not going to put specific data like out right now, but as we start to have
Yep.
more and trends, that is part of the survey. So we know what schools they're coming from. We know the positions that they're in. We have all of that in the survey as well, to your point. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So the next will be HR's goals for 24-25. We started just recently standardizing HR forms. We've only done a couple so far, but it is our goal to work on that. In auditing recruitment materials, we want to ensure that the district's commitment to diversity, excuse me. Sorry. We want to make sure that the district's commitment to diversity is clearly communicated, so we will be auditing the website, we'll be auditing job descriptions and job postings. And then building an educator pipeline. So Heather and I just started working together on creating a list of surrounding colleges that we will be reaching out to find out how we can become part of their pipeline to get their student teachers into our district's program. And this is something that Heather worked a lot on the substitute hiring process. We actually together, we worked on a substitute handbook, which is just about done. It's still in the draft stage, but it's almost done. But Heather has really streamlined the substitute hiring process. She takes applications off of School Spring. She contacts the substitute. She brings them in for an interview. She does all of their onboarding documents with them. Gets their, make sure they're fingerprinted, quarried, and then she submits all once they're approved and they're ready to go, she makes it clear to all of the sub coordinators that they're good to go. And we do have a pretty good pool, I believe, of subs at this point.
But we always need more.
We always need more.
To
Yeah,
the community watching.
that's right. We always need more. And then Maureen just spoke of the school climate survey. And that was it.
So did we not have student teachers before, or did we just have a very ad hoc procedure? of
Yeah.
they Just kind of
Yeah.
contacted us.
Yeah, we haven't had an established, for example, like when I was teaching, granted it was in Framingham, right? So Framingham State was right there, but we had an established relationship
Mhm.
with them. And so if you can get that relationship with some of the schools, then you know, it's more helpful, but we do have student teachers, but it's been ad hoc.
So they reach out to us and say.
Yeah, or if someone knows someone and they're looking, and we want to make sure that this is a place that they are looking and they're familiar with, and then that helps build it because that quite often that's when you have really strong student teachers. One, we want to help the profession, but when you have strong student teachers, they often will stay and want to stay in the district as well.
Are we working towards a relationship with a school like Mr. State or?
Yeah, so we're about to reach out to a lot of the surrounding colleges to see what we need to do to become part of their.
We already do work with them on when we do our Blackstone Valley recruitment fair, but that's in April. So it's almost kind of at the end of the year because we're looking for the following year, but here we want to add that layer of having student teachers as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. All right, next up, we have Jay for year-to-date report. We'll try to continue to do monthly.
Luckily, I was able to get back from where you guys sent me in nature's classroom so I could make it. Tried to banish me a couple meetings ago.
Yeah. I'm sure you had a nice one.
Yeah. Year-to-date report, you've got a copy of that. Obviously, at the end of September, there's not a lot of things that are really alarming at this point in time. Where we're supposed to be. The accounts look good at this point, but it's really early in the year, so I don't anticipate any major issues this early in the year. We do have a couple of budget adjustments we'll talk about in a little bit. That will correct a couple of things, but other than that, if there's any questions, I can tell you, as of tonight, we still have 100% of our snow and ice budget, so we're in good shape there. We'll see how it goes through the next
Do we have a
month.
hurricane budget?
Seriously.
Unbelievable.
Been saying.
Yeah, I know.
I have chipmunks lined up for this go to keep power.
Excellent.
They're all at my house now, but I'm bringing them down. Is there any questions on the year-to-date report though? Want me to do budgets, adjustment stuff now?
No.
Okay, go away.
Watch on it, maybe.
Back in nature's class, I'll be back in a little bit.
There you go. So dry. Wow.
Good.
Just we're on to new business. John and Marion, give us an update on their schools, council's proposed school improvement plan.
So am I okay to grab the screen?
Absolutely. Oh, John, the podium's over here.
Oh, I see that. He does that. John and podium jokes. He loves this podium.
Thank you. I know we included the entire Nipmuc school improvement plan in,
Would you share that?
Sure.
Just
oh, so you can share it online.
Yeah, because if you do it like that, it won't be able to share.
No problem.
In your packets, there's a lot of action steps in there, as you can see. So our presentation is kind of high level, but we're happy to answer any of the questions that come up as we go through it. John, share so that you can get on board here and start. Good. Great. So each of our goals, as I'm sure all the schools are coming forward to, align to our district's strategic plan. We get pretty excited about the goals in the strategic plan because they so align to who we want to be at our best. So we have 4 goals this year, 2 focused on the deeper learning, goal 1 on high quality curriculum instruction and 1 on equity, inclusion, and well-being. So the 2 deeper learning ones, we broke it apart, just although they're one and the same. We felt like the action steps were many and it provided clarity to the community a little bit in terms of 2 focus areas. First being authentic learning and continuing some of our work and expanding that around authentic learning experiences. And the other really focused on work-based learning experiences and community partnerships. So internships, innovation career pathways, we'll talk about those. Curriculum instruction, obviously a focus of the district and our focus, and then making sure all of our kids are known, valued, celebrated, which is obviously work we can continue each year. So we'll talk through each of them high level, but if there was something you saw in the specific action steps you have questions on, please don't hesitate to stop us and ask questions.
Our goal is to move quickly enough to give you time for questions. I sometimes
Thank
do
you.
that. Our authentic learning goal is really a progression of where we've been over the course of the last year. When we were here last year, we talked about authentic learning being the intersection of the portrait of a learner and the curriculum, meaning that when learning is most connected to the real world, it's a great opportunity to pause and look at the 6 competencies, chart your growth, and get feedback on your growth. So this year, a big portion of our goal is about it's about establishing, sharing, and collaborating in authentic learning. So you'll see action steps like publishing the database to our faculty. Included in that too is publishing kid-friendly language about what the authentic learning experiences are in the program of studies, so students can start to get excited about them. You see that we have it published down on the wall in a more visible, formal way so that students can start to see it in a visual way as well. Additionally, we're publishing the calendar to give faculty members the opportunity to come in and see each other's work, so using it as an avenue for collaboration, working together. When we rolled out the authentic learning level up protocol, a question we got a lot because we said, come up with one high quality, high confidence, collaboratively built authentic learning experience. Feels a little bit like a low bar. And our staff said, how many are you asking for? Are you going to ask for 2 next year or 3 the year after? We don't have that kind of a goal. Our goal is more focused on using that protocol as an integrated, regular portion of planning lessons. Collaborative, 15-minute protocol, getting feedback and continually leveling things up. So we don't have a target number, we have a target mindset that we're looking to develop. We have support from the instructional partners this year. Darcy is one of them, also Tara Bennett and Justin Townsend, who are acting sort of like the middle management leadership, the teacher to teacher leadership, and helping each other. It's low pressure to go to them, ask for support, have collaboration, get ideas, run the protocol. So we're excited for them. They're getting ready to start their Pastries with the Partners series, where they're available during prep blocks for people to come in, workshop their authentic learning experience with our team. Beyond that, we wrote a student learning goal around self-efficacy. A big portion of our work last year with the Applied Learning Leadership Academy was discussing, so what about authentic learning? What is the real measurable impact? And the data set that we're looking at is self-efficacy. Traditionally, it's been the lowest data point in our Panorama SEL survey around do they recognize the relevance of it in the world beyond school? And will they remember it and be able to access it moving forward? Kids do great with AP test, they score high, but do they remember what what they learned years moving forward? The metric's been low. And so we're believers that authentic learning is going to show an impact on self-efficacy. So we have a student learning goal that was written around self-efficacy as a metric using the same Panorama question. So we can look at individual authentic learning experiences, but more importantly, trace the aggregate over years compared to all of the work that the students have done. 1-8 Foundation has been an awesome partner in helping us come up with the questions and design a process to do that well. Beyond that, we're launching the Mastery Progress Tracker this year. So in October, we have a PD Day session and a faculty meeting session where we're going to be showing how for the class of 2027, we're all going through the journey that Hannah's on right now to create a Mastery learning record. We're going to engage all faculty members in seeing not only what that intersection looks like, but how to evaluate student reflection and give feedback on that through the use of the Progress Tracker tool, which essentially includes all the competencies every student can create a visual heat map of where students are strong in the competencies and where they need a little bit more support. It's a really, I'll talk all the time about the infrastructure around the portrait of the learner. It's great to have these 6 competencies, but how do you have it show up in teaching and learning? How do you track it? How do you give feedback? How do you show the 4-year journey? How do you know school-wide aggregate feedback on where our kids are strong? How do you as parents get information and caregivers get information about how our students are doing? This is going to be a game changer for us. So we're really excited about the PD and the faculty meeting, rolling out the plan, and then engaging the entire educational staff in sort of adopting students, a couple of students each, and helping members of the sophomore class on their journey. It was a lot. We can do questions now if you want. If you want to pause on this one, or we can come back at the end too. Makes sense. Questions?
Oh, God.
All right, next.
Let's keep rolling.
We'll keep rolling.
Keep rolling. Come back. Let them digest a little bit. So the second deeper learning goal was focused on work-based learning opportunities for our kids and community partnership. So we 2 years ago earned designation for innovation career pathway in information, which was our computer science. That was our first pathway, and received some substantial funding from the state around that. This year, we're rolling out the designation we received for last year in our business and finance. So we have 2 pathways, a marketing pathway and a finance pathway. So those are starting this year. We're currently in the works. We received a science planning grant. And so now we're in the works to roll 3 science pathways to hopefully get that designation as well in healthcare, environmental science, and biotech. And so it's really about the expansion of it, obviously, but as we're looking to expand kind of how they exist within our school culture, what are the opportunities for students, how are students finding out about the opportunities, and expanding beyond just these 3 content areas, if you will, right? The state has created essentially a replicable model to do this in any way that we want to do this. While there is some state funding behind these pathways, you see that up there on the board, there is nothing that precludes us from saying we can't build one in the humanities or can't build one. I know criminal justice is of interest to a lot of our students. And so we're kind of taking the benefits that we've learned and going through the model and earning some funding around it to see what it can look like across the entire school. So that's exciting. As part of career pathways, students in their senior year do a 100-hour internship. So we don't have any current seniors this year, but next year will be the year that our seniors make it to that 100-hour internship or capstone. So working this year to develop a plan. Those can exist within the school year. They can exist in the summer. They can exist in vacation times. They can be virtual. They can be in person. There's a lot of options for them. And I think our goal is to keep all options open for students and really meeting the kids where they're at as we jump into that. I think that also coincides a little bit, and we'll talk about this, with the rollout of a new schedule. Does the new schedule then allow for greater flexibility in what that internship will look like as well? So that 100-hour internships associated with innovation career pathways. At the same time, we are expanding our junior internship program, which started last year. We had 20 students that took the final 3 weeks of school after AP testing and engaged in an internship. So they left here, and every day, instead of coming to NIPMA, they went to their job and learned some valuable experiences on those internships. And they came back the second to last day of school for a showcase for their families, for all the community partners, for area schools that were interested in creating a model. Similar, many high schools do senior internships. That's very traditional to do that. We were interested in the idea of junior internship so that students had the opportunity to explore before all their decisions about post-secondary planning were done. So some students will tell you it was the greatest experience and confirmed everything they thought they ever knew about a profession. Others will say it was great, but it's definitely not what I want to do for a career profession. So it worked both ways. So we were at 20 last year. Our goal for this year is 40. We're going to double the number of students that have that opportunity. As we're sending more students out, we're realizing the need to formalize some career readiness programming for junior internships, but looking forward to the senior internships, whether that is asynchronous or whether we start to look at some coursework that students have the opportunity to engage in, some half credit or quarter credit classes that students can take. Obviously, the internship showcase was an important part for our community, getting our students back and learning from them about what they're learning as they enter the world of work, our teachers, our other students, community members. And then the other part, I skipped formal database of community partners. As all of these programs are growing, the number of community partners that we're working with is growing as well. And so that's all the way from the classroom level, all the way up to hosting our students for internships. And so developing a formal database where all of these partners are there so that when educators are looking for partnerships, we have a bank of who's willing to come in and be a guest speaker, to give students feedback, who wants to come in and see a showcase, who's willing to host an internship. All of our sophomores go out on career shadow experience for a day. That's another one. And so looking at that in a systematic way so that we're kind of holding on to the partners that we have and using them strategically, not overwhelming them either. And then the final one is early college, essentially. Many high schools in the area are offering college and university courses while students are still in high school. It's another goal, I would say, of the state. There's some early college designation stuff. We're not looking at that. It's pretty intensive programming, but we are looking to establish a partnership where we can have 1 or 2 courses to start, where our kids can either virtually or in person get themselves some college credits and college experience while they're here. That's different from AP, but a valuable experience where they can walk onto a college campus and take those credits, but also take the experience and hopefully find success through that.
Great. Next goal is around curriculum and instruction and focuses primarily on the data inquiry cycle. Past few years, we've come up with our own MRSTA specific data inquiry cycle. We began practicing with it 2 years ago in the new format. Last year, we began working with it. We had model learning goals around this. And this year, we're beginning to see it show up more organically, depending upon what people's curiosities, interests, or needs are. So you see departmental focus areas, the English department, for instance, looking at MCAS data, tracking students into their junior year with their specific teachers, all of the teachers taking on a shared goal, but looking at it through a different lens in order to meet students' needs. Teachers taking it on with the AP courses in order to evaluate their AP scores, common assessments, but beyond academic achievement, we're seeing it also, and that goes to the second bullet, of the whole child reviews and the student support team processes. We've worked with S3 in order to come up with the whole child review process, meaning something that we do for every child, not necessarily when a child's in crisis. And Cheryl's been really integral in this work of helping to create the data dashboard that includes really important information like attendance, MCAS, but also includes panorama data and also includes other important information like their Portrait of a Learner Scholar profile. It tells you how they identify what their strengths are, powerful quote. So it gives a rounded picture of the student. Last year, at the end of the year, we piloted this process with several students to see how the whole child review went, developed basic action plans. We're looking to scale that this year, and our S3 team is getting ready for the first meeting of the year to figure out how to do that. The student support team, the SIT team process has also been revamped. Just today, the first group of students who are going to go through that process, their teachers received invitations from Ryan Capizella, who's taken over a role as an adjustment counselor in our school counseling office. We've been meeting as a team since the beginning of the year to refine the process, use the things we already have in place, and make sure that it doesn't feel like something separate, but feels like something streamlined based on open architects, the practices we've done, all the focus we've done on attendance. We're really excited about that. I feel like it is definitely going to change the tiered supports that we offer, the accessibility of tier 2 and tier 3 supports to teachers in order to provide them with some help. Refreshing the Atlas Rubicon process, reviewing curriculum, and also doing things like looking at transfer goals, including authentic learning experiences. And also as part of that work, adding training in order to be sure that our process is really solid for when we're selecting resources through the lens of what's appropriate academically, but also it's the most equitable resource that we can be selecting.
Great. And then the final one focused on equity, inclusion, and well-being. Kind of a wide range of steps here. Our school counseling department obviously is involved in most of these steps as well. They're working to redesign wellness weeks. So for the last, I don't know, lot of years, 5, 6, 7 years, we've had wellness weeks, 2 designated weeks per year, and felt like we were to the point where wellness should be more embedded. It shouldn't happen just twice a year, and there's plenty of wellness practices embedded, but they wanted to formally kind of disband the wellness week idea and have created themes for each of the grade levels and are embedding lessons into advisory, school-wide activities, and other kind of happenings at breaks and lunches to engage the community more regularly. We're continuing our partnership with Jed High School. Last year was the self-study year. This is the strategic action planning year around wellness, inclusivity, belonging. A lot of similar work that we had been doing, but an organization that was really kind of the outside looking in, right? To say, you're doing a lot of things, let's figure out what buckets those are in essentially, and kind of what are some next action steps moving forward. So we haven't met with them yet this year. I know the team is looking to come together. We've done some activities already to start the year. In advisory, we did Hello, My Name Is activity where all students had the opportunity to record an audio clip that shared their name, the correct pronunciation of their name, as well as some key information about their name and their pronouns, and all of that information been uploaded into Open Architect. So every teacher has access to that student's recording. And so looking for, ways to make sure that we're valuing every individual and they have the opportunity to share. We have a new banner down in the lobby that's welcome in all of the languages that are spoke in the district. Another partnership with Sandy Hook Promise, which I know is a district partnership, so you might have already heard about it, creating, again, a peaceful, positive school culture, safe. This year is Start with Hello, so there'll be a school-wide training that we go through with all students this year. There'll be a student group that starts up too to continue the programming throughout the year, so we'll work with Sandy Hook Promise. Focus on our English language learners and kind of their needs in supporting their work. So part of that is communication with families, making sure that our teachers have the tools that they need to be communicating with talking points, and there's other translation software, and making sure they've changed the interpreters process a little bit. So making sure there's clarity in that, so we don't reach any hiccups as we go through the year there. And then professional development for our teachers. They're asking, as our population of English learners is increasing, which is awesome. We need to make sure that we can meet their needs. And so making sure there's time for collaboration between our EL teachers and our subject content teachers will be important this year. Surveys, Panorama survey is coming up actually this week for most of our students. The SEL one, EDI one is a little bit later this fall, but administering those surveys, taking time to look at the data that we're getting back. Those will be critical too as we continue our partnership with Jed High School to be sure that we're finding those key points. Self-efficacy is part of the Panorama data, so we're excited to get another year of that data back from our students. And then a big one, and although it's one action step at the bottom, is the schedule. Looking at, we have an active scheduling committee of, I believe, 16 educators in this building and counselors who are working together, exploring options. They have some plans to kind of nail down one or two, maybe pilot some, or we hit the end of the year, get some feedback from kids, feedback from caregivers and parents, feedback from educators, and make a decision in terms of what we would like to revise to meet the priorities of our school community. And that's what we have. Just a few things.
Hannah, what do you think?
I mean, do you want like an in?
You don't have to say anything.
That was
Put you on the spot.
No, if you wanted to say something, that's perfectly fine, but you don't have to say anything at all. I just thought these are the people providing an education for you, and you have a chance to respond to that. Kind of what the future might be.
I mean, like, I do remember doing like the, you know, the name recording and that stuff during the year, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, because, oh, actually, like today, like someone said my name in class, they were like, Catherine. It's like, who's Catherine? It's like, oh, Hannah Catherine, that's me. So like, I mean, it would be useful like for our name, last name pronouns. Like I always try to say my pronouns as well to make, you know, some people with, you know, not biblical pronouns feel more comfortable and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing to incorporate. As I also got the email about Wellness Week, and I thought that was cool too because it's a little break from, you know, everyday grind of school and work every day.
Good response.
Yeah. Questions about any of it? I know we made you forget the first slide after talking through the other.
No, I got the first one.
I declare.
As part of the panorama, the SEL survey is, and I know you can sort of construct the areas that you want to inquire about. The sense of belonging, is that an area that we've addressed in the past? And is that information or that data being used to help guide some of the decisions about the equity and feeling of well-being and what groups may not be feeling welcome and included?
Yeah, so I mean, we've looked at it as a faculty, but we are also now looking at it because it's part of open architects down to the individual student level. I mean, we can get it at any level, down to the student level, down to the question level. That's really helpful as we're going through the whole child review process too, right? So we can look at groups, but I think looking at the students and making sure every student feels like this is a place where they belong is important too. So yeah.
Right, and I ask because I've seen these slides a lot coming from you all, and it seems to be very focused on the SEL and the English language learners lately. And I'm just curious to know whether that's how it plays out in terms of the actual data coming from the students here. Is that a group that we're targeting because our data points to it, or because it's pushed by the state that we're supposed to be looking more closely at that particular group of students? So I was just curious of the question.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact data point. I know that the English learners has come up as a group that creating a sense of belonging for them. And that's panorama, but that's feedback we're getting directly from those students as well, and making sure that, you know, and Darcy was here earlier talking about the Friendly Faces group. That was a newly created group this year in collaboration with trying to meet some of those needs of the immigrant students that are coming to us and making sure that, you know, they feel welcomed and part of the community. So nothing's a magical fix, but we keep the little things we keep trying to do. So yeah.
Have you gotten any feedback from some of the internship programs that you've done from both the students and the employers, and what does that look like?
Sure. It came from our after the showcase, which is very informal, right? Listening to them. We also held kind of we call it food for thought style lunch because it's something we do with our students, but we had the employers and the students back up here to kind of debrief the session in terms of like key takeaways, what each group got out of it, what the needs of the group were, you know, to be able to use that moving forward. I don't think we had a negative or even mediocre experience in the bunch. We didn't have any students come back or any employers come back and say this didn't work. watching them at the showcase, engaging with, you know, the other employers that were also engaged in it and the other students that had the different experiences. I think a lot of times this was the first student they were ever hosting in an internship, so they're learning alongside the other employers. So I think they were excited to get to network with each other in terms of the types of experiences that they were providing to students. But no, they were overwhelmingly positive about the opportunity, so.
And they were given meaningful work. So
Yes.
we started with 20, we're going to 40 this year. I think one of the challenges is finding expanded group of partners who are willing to do what the last did, which was really invest in our students, you know, radio show hosts, turning segments over to our students, real estate agents asking our students to create the marketing materials for an open house, actually doing the work, doctors taking time to meet with a student in order to have them perform mock surgery on a model where they could have just been, you know, doing paper or shadowing or listen. The work that they gave them was really meaningful. One of the students actually on the open house night said to me, I think they liked it, but maybe they're just bored every day. And it was exciting for them, but they got the sense that the people were really glad they were there.
Yes.
They were glad to be working with high school students and they made an investment in them. So finding 20 more partners this year who can help do that is going to be a challenge, but it's awesome. We got to give kudos to Tara Bennett, who's been, you know, we talk about ICP's internship program, the things that we're growing. She's been critical for that. And we also just have great teams, the ICP teams. We met with the science group today, our school counseling team. So we get to come out here and share like progress that's being made, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes who are making it happen.
Listen, I get the same question in my mind every single time we go through a school plan, and it's like, it seems like a gigantic amount of work to get to that goal. And everything within these, all the specific points you've got are ending in 2025. It's like, wow. But understanding where you've come already, and it sounds like we're quite a ways there already, so.
We said we weren't gonna write that many action steps this year. And then we broke the deeper learning goal into 2. We're like, we'll just break it into 2.
Right, it's about sustaining and growing.
Awesome.
It's not about getting it off the ground. And I think that, and refining too. That was our goal last year with the Applied Learning Leadership Institute, was to create high quality authentic learning experiences, at least one. So I'm not trying to scale it as huge and everyone has 10 of these, a bank of them, but do one, do it really, really well and get the mindset and then be able to grow that naturally as time goes on.
Well, that's really, that whole plan is really exciting. It's a lot of fun because it just expands the whole area of school, the ability to look at the real world and how to apply themselves. It's a lot of fun.
Exciting.
Is there any thought about like the authentic learning experiences, the internships? I mean, they're all awesome. How we pull that into the demo showcase? Because I don't feel that message, I mean, listen, there's gonna be 6 people watching this video tonight online, right? Let's be honest.
No, you're
Like,
right.
how do we get that? How do we get that in front of parents when they're using the showcase to make a decision and they think that other schools are the authentic schools of learning, they are where the internships are, but
Actually, BET's advertising themselves all the time.
for those 2 things, and we're doing it.
So yeah, we're doing it now. I don't know that we've had it to show before. We're just making a few changes with it. We're moving our showcase way up. Whereas it was after the beginning of the new year, it's December 5th this year.
Awesome.
We have our meeting tomorrow that's going to get all the promotion materials out into families in the next week. So just to get it save the date, which is huge. We also sort of did a test kitchen on showcasing some of these programs at open house. So rather than listening to Mary Ann and me give a speech again, we thought we would make it a little more collaborative, community-based. And we had in the media center showcase of programs. So we had 3 junior internship, now seniors, tell about their experience. We had our school counselors walking people through the roadmap. We had Ryan Rubidoux talking about innovation career pathways and had stations set up. So it felt, so honestly, I don't know how successful it was, but it was one of the reasons we were excited to try it, to see if people connected. And then we surveyed people afterwards and found out, yeah, we're going to make a few adjustments on it. So, but yes, to your point, the showcase needs to have those prominently displayed. And I think they need to hear from people like Hannah when, you know, we don't coach Hannah on what to say about the MLR. So when you asked questions, I leaned in a little bit to hear what that idea about the stigma I hadn't heard before. And I look at the group of students who are taking on this opportunity and I actually have, you know, their many phenomenal students like you are, who already have wonderful traditional transcripts. So I've been thinking about how do we grow it from the other side. I think it's a matter of really listening and putting our students in the main communication driver's seat on that day, because they're the best people to talk about the programs and their experiences. That showcase, and we have it as one of our action steps this year. You pulled my string, and here I go.
Yeah.
That showcase last year was one of the most powerful examples of student feedback I've had in my career. And we said, how do we get more people to hear from these students about what they got out of it and how we need to grow it? Because they had great critiques on how to change some of the things we did. So yes, earlier, students prominent, and making sure that the message is delivered by people in addition to our educators.
And our hope is to expand to more than just 8th graders as well. Our hope is to really gather the 7th graders in this year as well, because I think come 8th grade, they already have thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So expanding all those things. But now we have junior internship students who can
Well, that's
come
it.
and share,
Perfect.
right? Once you live through the pilot, then, they're there and can share some fun.
It speaks to one of the challenges in our goals, though, actually, I don't know if it showed up well enough here, but one of the challenges is we have to introduce with Innovation Career Pathways, this new program and get buy-in and get students to participate and then begin to show proof of concept. It's so early right now that if you're raising your hand, you're a little bit brave to go give it a shot. We can see where it's headed, pathways, the career opportunities, the internship, and we're super excited. But we're also, I feel like 2-3 years from now, the opportunity to get in front of middle school students and parents and share is going to be that much stronger. But the neat thing about all the work is that it all fits together. ICPs fit together with MLR, fits together with POL, fits together with the internship program. So none of it's pulling in a different direction, just all going the same way right now. A lot of work to be done. We're excited.
You mentioned that like you didn't know how some of the students reacted to the internship, correct me if I'm wrong. But I just wanted to say, I feel like it was mostly positive from what I've heard. Like I have some friends that still yap about it. Like they'll still be like, that internship that I had last year, that internship. And I was like, okay. I didn't go on the, well, I did apply for the internship, but I didn't get in. But also I probably wouldn't have selected me either, because it was kind of like, what do you want to intern? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, do you have any ideas? I was like, no. But I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me because blah, blah, blah. So I think definitely like coaching students more along to see like what they're interested in, because I only kind of figured out what I might want to major in college like this month, like I saw last week. So like it's really hard to figure that out. Another thing I wanted to touch upon was the partnership with like the local college to provide one college level course. I don't know if you remember, but last year, my guidance counselor reached out, was talking, I think it was Worcester State, yeah, and saying about that. And I was so excited. I was so pumped. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do lifetime wellness next year. Let's go. I can have a study hall during school instead. And she was like, actually, the person got fired. So that's not happening. That was like, that was after I had like hounded her for meetings and meetings. I was like, Miss Town, is this happening yet? And she was like, no, not yet. And I kept going. So like, I think that would be absolutely amazing, because I was so hyped for that last year and I was so disappointed when it didn't work out.
We were pretty excited about it too. It didn't work out, but we've already had good meetings with 2 universities this year to get the ball rolling. QCC in particular feels like a really natural partnership, and it's going to be a great opportunity to get college level courses for some students. It's also going to be a great on-ramp to college for some students who aren't sure if they want to pursue an associate's degree. And if we can get 2 or 3 of those courses and get credits from those, it's going to make it an easier on-ramp to just continue on that path toward college. So it's another piece we've been working on for a while. It's been in our school goals for a couple of years, as you know, but it's never been this close. So work to be done. Thank you, Hannah. I know the classes we had were good too. We were excited about, they were elective based and exciting. So
Questions? All right, thank you both.
appreciate it.
We have to vote on this.
We do.
A motion to approve the 2024-2025 school year school improvement plan.
Second.
Emma?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for keeping us honest. Jay's back with budget adjustments.
Oh, boy.
Geez, Jay.
We're not gonna have to read that.
Go all the way next, pass in the back, all in that. No, we don't have to read anything here that I'm aware of. I mean, you guys are welcome to read anytime you'd like. So we need to make two basic adjustments here. We have found that we've got some more, we have less contracted services needs and more supply needs on the special ed side. So we want to move $5,000 each out of 4 accounts for medical therapeutic is what those accounts are called, put them into the supply accounts for the schools. It's just a need for materials, less of a need for medical therapeutic contracted services. The other adjustment we have to make is the team chair admin assistant has always been split between both schools, but more and more that person is spending the overwhelming majority of their time at Nipmuc. There's less of a need at Memorial anymore. We've already made the adjustment with Misco and Clough, but we need to do this one. The reason it didn't happen prior to this is that person in the position just retired at the end of August. So it just was left the way it was, but we do need to make that adjustment now. So we're paying out of the right. Pretty simple stuff. I don't believe you need to just vote to approve making the adjustments, and tomorrow I will go and make the adjustments in the software. You have to be specific about, unless you really want to read all of this and read each account number. If you can, I think Sean should do it, so.
That's what you get for sending in nature
All right.
space.
Is there any questions on this? No, it was Eric.
That was
But he's the chair. I can't make it.
All right.
Yeah, these look at me, so, motion to approve the budget adjustments, recommended by Jay Bonner.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Good. Thank you, Jay.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so wrapping up here, school committee subcommittees. We're meeting on Wednesday for the budget subcommittee. For our first meeting. What's that?
No, it's not on my agenda.
Yeah, mine either, but it is now. Policy subcommittee, so you guys met tonight. He's not here as chair. Carrie or Sean, do you guys want to give an update?
Carrie's vice chair.
When did that happen? Yay. We met tonight at 6. We reviewed the memorial commemoration policy as part of what we talked about tonight. You'll see in our background notes, it's linked to the ACA non-discrimination on the basis of sex policy. We're presenting this as a first read through for the committee. It's an update that's based on Title IX regulations, and we'll bring it up for a second reading next committee, the next full committee meeting.
All right, and superintendent evaluation committee, we've met yet, October 15th is the first one. Next week, and capital planning, we meet for the first time on October 23rd. We don't have any other matters that weren't anticipated by the committee that discussed within 48 hours of the posted meeting. And going forward, we'll talk about out of country field trip requests, superintendent goals, and school improvement plans for the other schools. With that, we can take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Or second.
All right, we are all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:24.